They'll straight face saying, like, it's a big sacrifice that many millions of Americans are going to have to make, and we're willing to make that sacrifice.
Yes, exactly.
It's just such a wild thing.
Democrats are deathly afraid of a political base that has become way, way more radical than I think even they could have ever predicted.
Let's try being honest once in a while. Tapper's trying his damnedest, and she's wondering, wait, what? Why are you trying to question this? This is the lie we've been pushing on the American people. Your job is to carry it.
It's very funny that these Democrats came up in the era of Barack Obama and they try to mimic the way that he speaks. So
Let me be clear, dude.
Let
You
me
nailed
be
your
clear.
Our nation is standing up for American workers, restoring the pride of making products here at home. That's what we do every day. We're America's beverage companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns, delivering brands that have been enjoyed for generations, creating good-paying jobs, the kind that require only a strong work ethic. Because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Good Thursday to you. Welcome back to the Ruthless Variety program. I am Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook. Left to right across your radio dial, you may have noticed your government is still shut down. Our president is doing deals overseas, of which we'll be the beneficiary of, but there's no deals being done in Washington, D.C., and the amount of clips the Democrats are providing continues apace. Well, they still have sort of one formulation as to why it is that the government is shut down. Johnny, what is that again?
Leverage.
Yeah, that's it. It's
leverage.
a leverage. It's a leverage thing. They believe that it's in the English language, at least in America, it's leverage. And they think that they have that. They don't. They don't control any of government. But they've decided that they're going to shut everything down in perpetuity because they think that they can somehow bully people into making bad decisions.
Do we think that's the code word for his all-white club? Like when you're greeted at the door, somebody looks at you and you say leverage, and they say you may pass.
It's kind of like Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah,
with
that's how you
Fidelio.
get in. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You put the mask on, you're like, leverage.
I really hope not. That's a terrifying visual.
Leverage.
Just imagine him saying that.
That guy walks up with the half mask on, and he's like, hey, let me in the door. And they're like, what's the password, Mr. White Club?
Leverage.
He'll say it every time.
Leverage. So anyway, everything continues, and it's all insane, and it makes no sense. It's made no more sense, by the way, over the last few weeks than it made when we called this back in March, that this was going to happen. So over the intervening 6 months, they've come up with no strategy whatsoever. The only thing that they've done is unleashed the rank and file of the Democratic Party and to explain to us the method to the madness, which is a objective disaster. And we want to get into that. We've got a very good show. It's Thursday, so we play games on Thursday. But we have some incredible variety, some of which you flagged, and I don't know exactly what it is, Smug. And if Smug flags it, buckle your seatbelts.
Folks need to see this, and I can't wait until you three see it as well.
Yeah,
I think that's critical to understanding it.
So I'm sort of bracing.
It's going to be great. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I mean, you're kind of dark.
Well,
you have kind of like a dark sense of humor about these things.
Yeah, but I think it's important. It is when we get to it. I'm so thrilled. Wolf worked really hard to put this together too. It's gonna be great.
Okay, all right. So we'll get to all of that, but we want to start with another prominent Democrat. Now, recall this particular Democrat was the chief spokesperson for President Biden's initial election. He was thought to perhaps even be his chief of staff, but he wanted to stay in the United States. And a guy named Chris Coons.
Okay. Fellow Delaware guy.
Yeah, so he's a Delaware guy, and he explains to the American people in plain detail what it is that they're up to in clip one.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
Right back to it.
Okay.
Leverage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's and he obviously hasn't talked to White Club, who would explain to him that it's leverage, it's not leverage. But Michael, you've talked about this kind of a lot, and that these guys, they just have, I don't know, sort of a formulation of what they're doing here. Makes no sense to the American people, but they're prepared to take the risks anyway.
Yeah, it's like they'll straight face saying like, it's a big sacrifice that many millions of Americans are going to have to make, and we're willing to make that sacrifice.
That's
It's just such a wild thing. And
It is. That's it.
The other thing in this, I got to say, like, the media is actually holding the Democrats accountable for the underpants gnome logic of this thing in a way that previously they haven't. I saw a clip of
But
Jake.
I think it's just so bad. Like, they've had, in other government shutdowns, there's always been something where they're saying, like, no, you're doing this, and we don't want you to do. If you stop doing that, we're happy to have the clean CR.
Right.
There's nothing happening in the clean CR.
They are not. They're not under attack in any way and need to roll back something we did to them.
Right.
Right. It's like we broke healthcare in America.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hold SNAP benefits hostage until you allow us to paper over that by bailing out the insurance industry. Like, think about how fucking absurd that is.
insane.
Which
And that's true.
requires
That's
no
it. That's
bailing
exactly
out.
it. I mean, Duncan is 100% right. This is yet another example of, and they never learn from it. Democrats break something with when they are able to have their plans get into place. They break something, they make it far worse, and they say, "Oh, I knew it. Republicans are keeping us from throwing more money into this hole."
Yeah.
They do this again and again and again.
It's the expansion of the entitlement state.
That's it.
Right? And we talked about this a lot when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to Medicaid, when it comes to Medicare. The point is to start an entitlement program and then continuously expand its eligibility. You start one for the young, you start one for the old, you start one for the poor, you start one from all these different places in American society. And then you gradually expand the eligibility based on a crisis that somehow your previous entitlement program didn't cover. Right? And this is a perfect example, but they created the worst of all. And I will say, I was just surfing through X the other day, and because I'm genuinely curious about this coverage crisis. I mean, I know just based on our own insurance and people that I deal with, there's been massive increases over the last like 5 or 6 years, year over year. Right? I mean, what you were paying when we started a company 10 years ago is a fraction of which we pay today.
Yeah, but companies like UnitedHealth are putting that money to good use. They recently spent $9 billion on AARP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
dude, I saw this.
Did you okay, so there's 2 things that I wanted to highlight. You highlighted the first one. A straight cash from UnitedHealth to AARP.
I can't remember if it was $8 billion or $9 billion.
No, it was 9.
It's 9. Okay.
Why? Why were they doing that? Well, it's the advocacy arm of seniors, of course, and so they have this imprimatur of representing the interests of seniors. No, like they offer plans, and they're in business with United, and they advocate on behalf of policies that underwrite United Healthcare, which is why $9 billion. We're not talking about like, hey man, good year. Here's a $10 million bonus check, which is a big number. $9 billion. Like, we're talking about a number that would make you amongst the 50 most rich people in our entire country. And they're just like, that's an annual thing, man. Take it over, AARP. Got to ask some questions about that. And of course, AARP then dutifully starts advocating for all of these government policies that ultimately are a pass-through to the insurance companies.
Because it's not a donation to AARP; it's an investment in their business model.
It's 100% right. It's 100% right.
And the thing that bothers me about all of this, I kind of go back to like, all right, you remember in the Biden administration when they were trying to do the student loan bailout?
Yeah.
Right? And they fought back on it, and at the Supreme Court basically said, Biden, you can't do this. Yada,
Yes.
yada, yada. At no point in that debate were they like, boy, Higher education in this country is completely unaffordable, and why does the cost of it continue to go up while the quality goes down, while the federal government pays more money into the system? At no point was this a conversation about maybe we should address the root causes of this problem within the industry and system. And healthcare now is the exact same thing.
Bingo.
Where why the cost keeps going up, despite the fact we were told when we passed the Affordable Care Act that it was going to be affordable. You could keep your doctor if you liked your doctor, and it was going to be cheaper. Now it's more expensive. And instead of fixing the root cause of the problems that exist in the industry, it's like, well, bail them out.
Yep, that's it. Except for the fact that I read an article. It was street focused, so you appreciate this, Smug. It's kind of an earnings report type rundown of what United was talking about, and their CEO was boasting of just the incredible year that they'd had. They exceeded all expectations from an earnings perspective, and we're expecting more in the year to come. Very bullish report. Shareholders would be thrilled. So, like, in the context of what we're dealing with, you got to ask some questions about that. So you've got a government shutdown, most charitably explained by Democrats that they are concerned about rising premiums on the American people. Never mind the fact that this is a system they created individually, soup to nuts.
It's just work. Expensive. I mean, look at the name. It was Affordable Care Act. Everything became it's not unaffordable now.
Yeah.
We just need more.
Well, you just need more.
Actually, at the beginning, it was called the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. They cut the patient protection part off when it was clear that you weren't going to be able to keep the doctor.
You couldn't be. The patients were, in fact, not protected. Affordable care they could live with for another day.
It was patients, and then it was insurance company protection.
Yeah.
And affordable care.
And they make, look, they're willing to concede some things about how, like, we wanted people with pre-existing conditions and all of these things to be into the marketplace. Yes, it makes health care a little bit more affordable in the marketplace. That's why we need to subsidize the whole thing. Sue us for wanting to help people. That's their case that they make. Except for the fact that you've got a rising cost of health care on everybody and insurance companies making more money than they have ever made before. And telling Wall Street about all of this, and now they come back and they spend, I don't know, it was like $1 trillion or whatever it was for this one-time thing to have a tax credit that would continue to expand the amount of taxpayer investment in ordinary individuals' health care. And you start looking at the finances of UnitedHealth and like all of the other insurance companies and went from like 20% government money, 40% government money, 50% government money, 60% government money. And like some of these outfits that cover like tens of millions of people are making like 90% of their money on insurance coverage that is directly paid for by the federal government. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, that's what they say that they're shutting the government down. Like, just send them another check. Send them another check. I mean, it's the whole thing. So all of this is about that, as explained most charitably for them. I think it's more about Chuck Schumer's politics and about everything else. But then you get like the Sheldon Whitehouse situation where he has tried to diagnose this internally. And he's added to this week in clip 2.
Why are working families the leverage the Democrats need to get Obamacare fixed, to get the Republicans to fix Obamacare? Why is that the place you guys have to go that far?
It's the only lever we have.
Oh, it's the only lever?
Lever.
It's a lever.
Lever.
Dude, is this guy... Dude, he's lost his mind.
Come on. The commitment to the bit deserves a hat tip.
It's like it's Northeastern boarding school talk.
That's exactly what it is.
Where like half of the language they use is borrowed from British English. It's profoundly un-American.
It's just so lever. It's just so incredible.
Leverage.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you're going to go to the House side, which they're trying to work themselves into this story no matter what. They can't get enough of it.
Who could guess House members are trying to make themselves a story?
Yeah, they're like...
It's so unlike them.
Like, never mind the fact that past the House of Representatives has nothing to do with the House of Representatives. They're an important part of the story, goddammit. So then you enter Rep. Stansbury. I've never heard of this woman before. I've never seen her before. She's definitely never done anything notable in her entire life. But she's on with Jake Tapper, because that's what you do when you've got nothing else to go. You go on CNN, you talk to Jake Tapper, and you've got a hard take on it. Well, even Jake wasn't having this. Clip 3.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear. The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their tactics.
By the White House. This is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there.
Michael.
That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3
children
weeks worth
to
of
have
SNAP funds.
food.
All right. So, like, this is the intellectual dishonesty that these people are engaging in. And even Jake, who goes out of his way to suggest that shutting down the government, like, he's going to give them the full, I'll make the argument. As the anchor, he's going to make the argument on behalf of Democrats to this clinically insane person about how it's not their fault. And he's like, but it still kind of is their fault. And she's like, let me be clear.
Mm-hmm. Twice.
Kind of an aside undercurrent to what you're witnessing happening here is Democrats have, for their entire existence, been used to every journo being a stenographer and them having a tight control over the media. That's why this system flourished. There were no options other than, like your CNN, your ABC, your CBS. Now there's new media, there's podcasts, there's other sources for information. That monopoly they had is gone, and that's why you're seeing in real time. Now the CNNs of the world are trying to play catch up. They're like, oh shit, well, we've lost our audience. Maybe let's try being honest once in a while. Tapper's trying his damnedest, and she's wondering, wait, what? Why are you trying to question this? This is the lie we've been pushing on the American people. Your job is to carry it.
It's very funny that these Democrats came up in the era of Barack Obama and they try to mimic the way that he speaks. So
let me be clear,
dude. You're 100% right.
Let me be clear.
And just one other thing, just as somebody who now works in media and to some extent.
You're a media man now.
Well, and I'm an artiste.
Yes, you are.
You are.
And
you're a journo. That's why you're my buddy.
Journo buddy.
But like, this is just like a small little bone to pick with a lot of these interviews now, because I respect you, especially you people who are listening here on audio. Audio fidelity is an important thing.
It is.
Can we get rid of the interviews in Statuary Hall?
Dude, the echo
like
the echo was killing me the whole time.
It's disgusting. It's bad audio quality. It's like you could set this up anywhere in your office.
And also the backdrop fucking blows.
Yeah.
Like, don't pretend like that window, that hallway, first of all, is like as wide as this table. And it's got a statue and a window in it. It's not like a particularly noteworthy place in the Capitol.
But it's just become this thing where they insist upon it. This is where my interview is going to be. And this is also when, like, this is the place where Pelosi and all of those in 2020 did their Kunta Kinte thing with the cloths and everything, taking a knee for George Floyd. I don't know, man. I just don't think they should do interviews there. It sounds like shit.
Yep. He's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong.
It's pretty good. So, like, how are the American people? Like, I understand how you, the listener, have probably felt about all of this because you've been listening all along and we predicted this for 6 months. So, like, this seems like inevitability. But how is the general public receiving all of this? Our boy over at CNN, well, he's got some bad news again. Again, like CNN. They're like, oh, God, I can't believe we have to put Harry back on. Harry Enten.
Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat.
Oh,
it's so funny.
It has to pay them so much. Yeah, sure but it's truth serum.
He's become like the Billy Mays of CNN. And, if you are on audio and you don't see that on YouTube, I highly recommend you go to the YouTube so you can see it.
It's worth it.
The salesmanship of what Harry Enten was doing there with
the clap and the hand raise, it's like it's shot up.
It's like ShamWow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
Yeah, dude. I mean, but it's like a week in and week out thing as it pertains to the shutdown. Like all Democrats, according to Chuck Schumer, like this is working very well for us, he says. Democrats are like, oh, the polling shows that we're winning this. And like every week, Harry Enten shows up and he's like, no, dude, that's just not.
1 point better for Republicans this week.
Wrong direction. So anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk to Brent Gardner. You've heard him on here a lot. He's going to get a little more serious than we are about just sort of breaking down where it is, who's not getting paid, where he sees this whole thing ending right after this.
America's demand for energy is rising rapidly, and at a time when American families can least afford an energy shortage. But for decades, critical energy projects have been blocked, limiting our access to reliable, affordable American energy and putting America's energy dominance at risk. The solution is obvious. Overhaul the broken energy permitting process. Make it faster and simpler. Innovation, a strong workforce, abundant oil and gas. We have it all right here in the USA. Let's put America first and political agendas last. We can power our own country, create thousands of good-paying American jobs, and unleash American energy to be bigger and better than ever before. Because when America builds, America wins. Read API's plan to secure America's future at permittingreformnow.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Alzheimer's doesn't start when the memory fades. It can begin decades earlier, quietly in the brain. Science is advancing to better fight this disease. New tools can help doctors detect Alzheimer's early, when we have the best chance to slow it down. Early detection means more time, more birthdays, more anniversaries, more moments that matter. Let's act sooner, not later. Learn more at pfcdalz.org. Paid for by the Partnership to Fight Chronic Disease.
Well, there's one guy here in the Ruthless Variety program that we turn to who spends a fair amount of time under the dome trying to make sense of things and talking to people throughout the country about legislative machinations, in this case, a government shutdown. You know our opinion about all of that. But Brent Gardner of AFP is going to tell us his thoughts on where things are at. It's not great.
No. It's definitely not great. It's not getting better every day, and it's not getting better for families. And apparently, Democrats are okay with that, and Republicans are not. But
it's about the leverage.
It's about the leverage. Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is, Democrats won't stop explaining to the country how far off they are on this thing, and if they can find a microphone, they'll take an opportunity every day to tell them this. And the cool thing is we've seen some of the recent polling. Since the Democrat-led government shutdown, Republicans have actually moved up in the minds of voters,
which is wild.
And according to CNN, Democrats are at a 20-year low.
Yeah.
So it's clear that they've got some challenges out there. But meanwhile, the American people are struggling, wondering, when are these guys going to reopen the government? And quite frankly, Mike Johnson has done his job.
Yep.
And they've remained strong on some of the ridiculous demands from Democrats. And it's time to get this
I do
thing.
find it hilarious when it comes to Speaker Johnson that there's a whole bunch of House Democrats that insist on being part of the news cycle.
Oh, yeah.
As if they have anything to do with it.
Yeah, we heard from some of them already.
Yeah, like you're a member of the House of Representatives, which did its job and passed a clean CR and sent it to the Senate, and they're like, but Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
Republicans shut down the government.
You're just banking on the American people knowing nothing.
Yeah.
Which is so cynical.
Yeah. And look, increasingly, some of their brethren in the Senate, you guys saw John Fetterman this week come out with Senator McCormick and basically call him out on this stuff. And so, the dam is not as close to breaking as I'd like to see on this, because I think it's long past time to reopen the government. But it's very clear that, the American people want this. They're not loving the work that the Democrats are doing to try and, basically punish the American people for them not winning the election. I think it's a tough spot they're in.
It's really interesting. You've been around long enough to remember back when Johnny and I were under the dome, and there was a whole bunch of different leverage moments for minority parties that we utilize from time to time. But the fallback was always like, fine, clean CR. And everybody was like, okay, that's fine. We'll just do what we have been doing and continue to negotiate. And they have used a clean CR for all of this. And what they're saying is, first of all, it's a list of 4 demands, reverse all kinds of things that you did during the Big Beauty, which is never going to happen. But then they wanted to talk about Obamacare tax credits and premiums as a result of Obamacare going up. That was like sort of the primary demand, but there's no exit strategy for that, right?
I mean, that's the best part. So if you guys followed CMS this morning, so they put out their new Obamacare numbers because starting November 1st, open enrollment's going to kick back.
This is the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services.
Yeah. So they put out the stuff. So the plans available under the ACA will be less expensive than before COVID. The plan, one of the requirements that Democrats want to do is to be able to get rid of components of one big beautiful bill. One of them, an important one, is that there will be an option for an HSA for 1.6 million people. So the claims that they've been making thus far have turned out to not be true. It's actually less expensive than pre-COVID. There's more options. There's chances for HSAs. And this is what they've been calling for this whole time. The numbers are out now. And so
this was published
this morning
by CMS this morning.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, I surfed the internet a little bit. I saw some earnings reports from UnitedHealth and others where they've had a great year from the insurance side of things. And the idea that taxpayers need to further subsidize going forward in order for premiums not to rise seems like a little bit underpants-no-me to me in terms of its logic.
Yeah, we don't ever really get to that point of the discussion where we're like, hey, maybe if this thing is so broken, we should do something to fix it, like instead of maybe bailing out insurance companies.
Because everything gets less expensive when you just push more tax dollars into it.
I want to warn you guys, right now you are letting policy and facts get in the way. That has been a really terrible talking point.
Thank you for reeling us in.
These inconvenient truths are going to be something that we're going to have to deal with.
Thank you for reeling that in, Brent. But so, I mean, look, you look at the landscape. So much of this has been illogical from the jump that I'm not surprised that it's lasted as long as it has. I mean, Ashbrook came up with a theory that some of this was related to these off-year elections, which are next Tuesday.
Yeah, an awful lot of Democrats work for the federal government, live in Northern Virginia, and are mad at Republicans. And I mean, what you said about the numbers, I believe to be true, that overall in this country, that Republicans have come up in this shutdown, Democrats have gone down, which might be the first time in history, but Democrats know that they want to win these elections in Virginia, and if they can do anything at all to win, they're going to do it. This is what we've learned about the left. Power is the most important thing to them. And so if that means keeping the government shut down so Democrats who work for the federal government have an easier path to the early vote, they're going to do it.
Yeah, it just seems like that might be a line of demarcation. So, I mean, as you look at the landscape, I mean, are we any closer to the end of this thing?
I think so. I mean, I think that it just bears itself out that it has to. If you look at the folks that have come out against that key constituency for Democrats, unions have come out in a big way. If you look at the impact on the American economy, they're talking like $14 billion worth of impact.
Yeah.
And that's before what happens potentially. We haven't been paying FAA controllers. At the end of the day, when you start to see people who are in ICE not getting paid, when you see, the fact that we can't keep going and paying the military without getting this stuff done. And, on Saturday and Sunday, we see people's SNAP benefits go away. I mean, there are real impacts to American people that aren't about leverage. They're about the American government either functioning or not. And people are going to have to look really hard. Republicans passed a bill to continue the current funding levels. Democrats have said no 13, 14 times.
Are you surprised by their candor? I'm a little surprised, right? Because they started with all the hallmarks of what they usually do. We're not shutting the government down. Republicans are. And you're like, wait, how does that work? But you figured they'd stick on that for a little bit. Now they're like, no, we did do it because it's about the leverage.
The leverage,
yeah, man, this smile that I've got on right now is an uncomfortable smile. It's not taking joy in this. But, people talk about a DC bubble all the time. But imagine the people you have to have around you to make getting on national news, standing in front of press cameras and saying, this is going to hurt some families, but this is about our leverage.
Yeah.
When we don't have a lot of leverage.
We're prepared. What did you
Just
say?
imagine that.
We're prepared to make that sacrifice.
We know this is going to hurt you, and we are prepared to make that sacrifice.
Yeah. Imagine the folks you got to have around you who say, this is the right thing to say, and you feel good about it. You feel like every day is a better day for you. Well, it's not a better day for the American people. And according to the polls we're seeing on CNN, it's not working for them. And so, look, I'm really proud of where Republicans have been. We need to stay strong on ACA subsidies. We need to reopen the government. Democrats have to remember they're Americans first. And they need to reopen the government. I mean, I think it's that simple.
I imagine you're hearing an awful lot from the network that you all have built over the years of people who have, shall we say, strong opinions about what they're saying in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. AFP is not an organization. It's a group of people. I mean, it's people who across this country, they knock doors in the wintertime in Wisconsin. They make phone calls every day with their kids. They knock doors in Dallas in August. I've been there with those folks. Those are some hardened individuals.
Yeah.
These are people that care about America. So we talk to them all the time on driveways and doorsteps, and they're pretty clear on this. If they're not completely disgusted by where they are, they're recognizing the importance of the work they do to get us to where they know we need to be. And they took a big step last November. They sent a clear message to Democrats, which clearly they haven't heard.
I mean, not only did they not hear it, it's like they even went further. Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone into the loony bin. But look, we've got a lot of work to do. They're dedicated, more dedicated than ever. You mentioned the elections of Virginia. Across this country, we're getting ready for a huge election year next year. And it's, again, a referendum on who we want to be in the future. And so it's heartening for us to hear from these folks. It's sad to hear the frustration, but they're ready to get out there and keep working.
Brent, is everything that we're seeing in the polling about Democrats losing this argument, is that consistent with what you're hearing at the doors?
It is today. And I think one of the things that Republicans have done better this time than they've ever done in the past, no offense to people who've been under the dome before, but we've figured it out. You have to communicate clearly with the American people. You have to speak truth to lies. You have to provide facts that the American people can believe, and you have to treat people like they're not stupid. I mean, the opportunity to do that and remain consistent, remain principled is what we've seen here. And I think that's, the results in the polls we see today, I think and I hope, is the beginning of what it needs to be going forward. I think that delta grows even bigger as Democrats continue to be obstructionist to a better opportunity for America to improve, to get better policy. And I think Republicans need to stay together on message, doing things that improve people's lives.
It's a discipline thing. And that's what sort of surprised me in this, and we've seen this in prior negotiations, is that you get to this point where Republicans start negotiating in public against themselves for whatever reason, because they have a camera in front of their face. And for whatever reason, we've established, I think, a message discipline in this shutdown as Republicans that is, I mean, it's heartening. Like very frequently we do. I mean, like even back when we were doing the big beauty.
Oh yeah,
you had a lot of Republican members out
maybe
there.
We should raise taxes.
Just freewheeling on maybe we'll just raise taxes. Who knows? We'll figure it out.
Right.
But what do you attribute that to?
The freewheeling part?
No, the discipline we're now seeing.
Look, I'll give a lot of credit. I gave it already to the Speaker. I think the Speaker and the Majority Leader, I think the House has done a really great job of doing what people didn't see happening. I think Leader Thune is doing the same thing in the Senate right now. I mean, look, there would have been opportunities to potentially roll over and put this in a bad position. I think Republicans, emboldened by the work of people last election and delivering them majorities, have come out the other side saying...
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing. Is like, if you're thinking about shutdowns, like... the proximity to the last judgment the American people rendered on all of this, pretty close. We're less than a year removed from it. So there's not a lot of question about which direction people wanted to go, and yet here we are.
Yeah, we had a referendum, and people are saying we're going to make good on the promises that we made.
Yeah.
And I think that that's great. I think Republicans doing that in one big, beautiful bill gave confidence for them to be able to stay together on this and hopefully continue doing that into the future. And we can continue to expand majorities that'll give us a chance to get even more good policy.
Can I ask you this from a guy who both interacts with lawmakers at the highest levels and people throughout this country? You have a unique perspective on it. But one of the things that it's just impossible to ignore, and we've talked about on the Variety program, predicting this moment all the way back to March of last year, is the Democrats are deathly afraid of a political base that has become way, way more radical than I think even they could have ever predicted. You're going to see next week Mamdani win mayor of New York City, which is like the most fascinating transformation of anything that I can remember at any time. But it looks like we knew the Chuck Schumer dynamic, and he's nervous about A, keeping his job as a majority or minority leader, but B, keeping his job as a senator at all, with AOC and the like looming out there. How much of this is just pure preservation politics, you'd think, on the Democratic side?
You got to assume some of it. I mean, you saw in Politico or Playbook, I think it was last week, they an unnamed Democrat in the Senate talked about fearing the guillotine from their own party.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be some of it. It doesn't seem like a good plan. Doesn't seem like it's working. The polls, again, are not showing that it's working. But yeah, I think Democrats are probably a few years behind Republicans in trying to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge is they've got some challenges growing.
Do you think
within
people
their
are
own.
connecting the dots on this? Because, I mean, look, you're surrounded by this every day. Easy for us to pick up the fact that, like, when you make irrational moves, that irrational moves are rational somewhere down the line. They're not just, like, dumb, although they are that. But there's a reason, there's a method to the madness on what they're doing, and it's obviously this huge base constituency of the Democratic Party that is becoming incredibly restless and violent and everything else. Do you think that people throughout the country understand the connection from the behavior that you see out of Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, rank-and-file Democrats shutting down the government, ending SNAP funding, making sure that military is not paid in order to show fight? Like, do you think that that people are connecting the dots on the politics of that?
I think three kinds of people are. I think Republicans are. I think Democratic leadership probably is. And I think some of those Democrats that in the past, have looked at what a winning majority took to build, some of the older commentators who understood what it took to be able to win independence.
Yeah.
I think those folks have got it. And I think they're scared. And I think they should be, frankly. But, I think there's still a group of people who are inside a bubble, who are talking to each other.
Yeah.
And reinforcing the kind of things that long term, as you pointed out, are going to cause real headwinds.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something. Josh mentioned the far left of their party pulling them to the extremes.
Yeah.
As part of our continuing coverage of the Democrat Civil War, we also noticed at the beginning of this week that the Federal Employees Union put out a statement calling on Democrats to reopen the government and pass the clean CR. So now they are locked between two diametrically opposed constituencies. Yeah. And it seems like there might be some cracks in Democrats in the Senate. I'm wondering, just, you don't have to give me a hard prediction here, but do you think maybe next week some of those Democrats who have voted no 13 times on the CR might turn and vote yes?
I mean, some of them are going to have to, right? I mean, that's definitely where we're headed on this. I think so. I think there's an opportunity to see that happening. I think the bigger, deeper story on this, though, is what did it take this much to happen on? I mean, there are a lot of different groups in a lot of different parties that have influence and good communication with folks. Why did it have to become public? It's a lack of a functioning party on the Democratic side that conversation in private didn't yield that result to where one of their biggest constituency groups felt like the way to communicate was through the press.
Enough.
Yeah, remember us over here.
Yeah.
I think the American people felt that way last November, and I think that's why they delivered majorities in two chambers in the presidency.
That's a good point.
And so I think that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It's a really good point, Brent. So you're hopeful maybe the end of next week?
Cautiously optimistic.
Okay. All right. We're going to have you back, and we're going to
great.
re-examine this entire thing, because I imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of issues to clean up on the back end of it as it relates to this discussion, too. And I know you got strong feelings about an awful lot of them. So, Brent Gardner, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
I always love whenever he comes by because he brings information straight from the doors, and it's very, very interesting to hear that the people at home think the exact same way as what Harry Enten is picking up in his polling on CNN.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, he knows the inside and the out. And, like, it's been frustrating, to say the least, from our perspective, in that every single American isn't 3 weeks before this shutdown concluding, A, the shutdown's going to happen, and B, it's because these guys are a rudderless ship.
Yep.
Like, there's no leadership in the Democratic Party. They're all scared to death of Mom Donnie.
And that's a very critical point and a through line that you're going to see again and again and again. The absence of leadership on the Democrat Party is the consequences of it just continue to reverberate.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, and it's honestly it's getting worse. And so, like, look, you look at all this stuff, and it brings us basically to a question of the day, which I think is actually, we're kind of trying to dumb this down for all of us, because I don't know how else to explain this.
It is the $1 million question, honestly.
I don't know how else to explain it. Like, we've tried to think critically about coalitions and all this stuff, and it's like dumb.
It all gets distilled to this, dude.
What it really is are Democrats dumb or crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question.
It is the question.
Are we attributing more of their behavior to an actual strategy, or is it dumb or crazy?
Yeah. Is it like clinical, or is it a lack of IQ? And we just.
I think both is an acceptable answer. I think that's what we're going to find out next Tuesday when Zoran Mamdani sweeps the polls in New York City.
Oh, I mean, he's not wrong, dude.
No, I mean, but dumb or crazy is that you guys weigh in on this. You let us know. I mean, you guys interact probably more frequently with people of both sides of the aisle. It doesn't mean every Democrat. Like, it just means that, like, the ones that are leading this situation.
Maybe every Democrat. We'll see.
Maybe
we'll see my segment.
Increasingly, I'm getting on board with what you're talking about, and that it seems to be an endemic issue that I don't know if it needs to be medicated or if there's some kind of like I don't know. We need to think about
incarcerated.
But it's also
there's many treatment options.
Listen, it's also appropriate to do a chicken or the egg thing. That they were so dumb that they became crazy, or that they were so crazy for so long they've become dumb.
Yeah,
it would be very interesting just to
like
break
a Stockholm
that down.
syndrome type situation. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's our question of the day. And when we come back, we're going to get to your comments from last episode. Will the Democrats finally cave? We mentioned the unions coming out against them. Things are starting to move. Your answers right after this.
Only 58% of Americans today say they're proud to be American. The lowest number ever recorded. That's not just sad, it is very dangerous, because if we forget what makes America special, we risk losing it. That's why Americans for Prosperity is launching the One Small Step campaign, a bold nationwide initiative to reconnect Americans with our founding principles that sparked unparalleled innovation and prosperity. It's not just a celebration, it's a call to action. Through the 250,000 Steps for Freedom Challenge, AFP is partnering with the grassroots in all 50 states to take meaningful steps that defend freedom and advance opportunity. Call your representative, attend a local event, knock on a door, talk to your neighbors. Every single step counts, and every step moves us closer to a more perfect union. Go to takeonesmallstep.com to learn more, then join the challenge at afpvolunteer.com.
Okay, so when you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program, we invite you to respond to our question of the day. We read every single one of them, summarize them, and get back to you the very next episode. Urge you to do that for our question of the day. Are Democrats dumb or crazy? For next episode, for this one, we asked a very simple question: will the Democrats finally cave on this government funding situation? To start those comments, we always start with a voice.
Okay, first one comes from Cackling Kamala. Cackling writes, Dems will let the shutdown continue until after the New Jersey and California, I think they meant Virginia elections. There, they can make all the excuses they want on why they either won or lost those races while spinning about the shutdown. Usually, Dems get a bump in the polls on these shutdowns, but not this time, as more people are seeing through the BS and the lies. This will be their downfall in the midterms, mark my words.
Cackling, I hope you are right. That is...
Our audience pays attention.
Good words. Comment too, Dunks Runks.
This is from Le Beau Sabreur. Perhaps French or maybe Quebecois. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe Canadian descent, some French Canada.
Le Beau writes, The most vulnerable Senate Dems will cave first, in particular Smug cyberbully victim and human equivalent of a room temperature glass of tap water and 2 pieces of Wonder Bread with the crust cut off, Senator John Ossoff.
Excellent.
That's poetry.
That is poetry.
That is so good.
Our listeners are the smartest, the
so
wittiest, the
good.
funniest.
And they pull back from years.
Yeah.
The lore.
Yeah,
the lore.
the lore.
He can't even stand up for Georgians, so there is no way he will stand up for Chuck Schumer. Interesting, LeBeau.
Interesting, LeBeau. All right, Smug, what do we got in comment 3?
Comment 3 is from John Button. John writes, I don't think the Democrats have another choice but to cave, and they went into this knowing that fact. They know the optics of this suck for them, and the Dem leadership is out of ideas. They're checkmated. I mean, that's it. That is it.
Dude, that's the thing that we talked about since March of last year. That they're never had a strategy.
Nope.
And sooner or later, like, the clock ticks to a point where you're going to have to show your cards. And they're showing the cards, and it's like, ooh, that's like a 2 and a 4 and a 6. All off-suited.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they got nothing. There's nothing. Of course they're going to have to cave. Question is how they can make it worth their while. Like, they're going to claim victory here, and I can't wait to see how. Like you suggested, a medal.
Oh, this is a great idea.
Giant medal for Chuck Schumer that says "I won the shutdown."
Yeah,
and we do the presentation at the White House like the White House does with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Trump puts it over Schumer's head so he can claim that he won.
I just don't think I think it's a good idea.
Just like the hero dog that took out Baghdadi.
But maybe it comes with a certificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something
Something
with an
signed.
embossed
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Classy.
ribbon.
Framed. But I think,
Like a spelling bee champion.
yeah, something like that. You know, and maybe like a gift certificate or something like
A
that.
gift certificate
Yeah,
is
like
a great idea.
Dave and Buster's or something,
Yeah.
like a power card.
Yeah.
You know, he can go play some games.
But I think ultimately where this negotiation is going to break down is he's going to insist upon AOC putting it upon his neck.
Oh.
I think that's the only way out.
Wow, that is a great idea.
I think it's the only way out. I think if Donald Trump can have a candid conversation with AOC and say, hey, look, I've got a medal. It's brass. So it doesn't cost a lot, but it looks goldy-ish. And you just need to put it around his neck and tell him he's a good boy. And he did all he could. And he's the legislator of the year. I think this whole thing ends tomorrow. And if she says yes to that, well, congratulations, our soldiers get paid.
Yeah.
Insane. It's insane. That's it.
That's what we're dealing with in D.C. I'm not kidding. Dude, I wish I was being hyperbolic about it.
No,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's basically where we're at. It's just an amazing thing. So we're coming back in our lightning round. We've got a prominent left-wing podcaster doubling down on violence. There was a hearing this week in the Senate on all of that, and it got a fair amount of attention because everybody's been talking about, obviously, in the wake of Charlie Kirk and everything else. This is something to keep an eye on. We're going to do that. Ben Stiller showed up in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. Didn't look too enthused, and we've got something on that and a lot more right after this. Okay, so many of you know the actor Ben Stiller is a prominent lefty, like a left-wing lunatic in a lot of ways. Good actor. He's a funny guy from time to time, but like his politics are, as is most the case with Hollywood, off the left-hand side of the charts. So he shows up in Virginia. It's like, why? But he shows up in Virginia, and he's campaigning on behalf of this Vindman character.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the brother of the guy who got Trump impeached?
Yeah,
over
now,
the Ukraine thing.
Now his brother's a member of Congress. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a cool political party.
So whatever this guy is, looks, and this is going to speak for itself. Clip 6.
Hey, Congressman Eugene Vindman here. My friend Ben Stiller and I were talking about
My
upcoming
friend.
election in Virginia. Ben, you had some thoughts?
I just think it's important for people to get out and vote. It's a very important election. It's important to protect our democracy. Do everything you can. Make a difference. It will make a difference, so get out.
Let's do it.
That's it? That's it? That's the whole thing?
Let's do it.
Dude, this guy has made a living as a comedian, and he shows up in a hostage video with this guy. He didn't even say his name. He just was like, vote.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I just think you should vote.
Also,
please vote.
Like Ben Stiller in that video has this crazy hair going on. It's like, Marty, we got to go back in time. We got to go back to the future.
They found us. I don't know how they found us, but they found us. It's the Libyans. Run for it, Marty.
Dude, I don't know under what circumstances you could not pull personality out of Ben Stiller, but they found it.
They found it. You found the most dull human being on the face of the planet to stand next to a world-renowned comedian, and you got nothing.
Zero.
He was like, yeah, I'll tape a 15-second thing. He's like, great, let's make sure it's fucking worthless. Unbelievable. That's incredible. All right, so I understand our next segment. This is unbeknownst to a lot of us.
Yep.
Smug, you've pulled this and put some thought into it, which here at the Ruthless Friday program, I can't tell you how big of a deal this is.
Yeah, so I think this is incredibly critical for everyone, especially every conservative. I want you to pay very close attention to this. I put a lot of time and thought into this. Wolf put a lot of work into this because I think it's important for every conservative in this country to see this entire thing. And I also want to get your guys' reaction, and I'm going to have follow-up graphics immediately afterwards. Let's just start with the clip.
Finally, if you think this Zoran thing is happening just in New York, and you think people are waking up only in New York City, you're mistaken. Look at this clip of a wine mom at the No Kings March. Play the clip.
Whatever his name was?
Charlie Kirk, ma'am?
Yeah, him is horrible. Horrible.
Charlie Kirk is horrible?
Yes, I'm glad he's not here.
You're glad he's dead?
Yes.
Why would you say something like that, ma'am?
Because he was horrible on the campuses, the college campuses. Horrible person.
You know what? I do the exact same thing.
Well,
would you be glad if I would die?
Maybe. I'd have to think about it.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Your friend just said she'd be happy if I died.
I think we need to...
So listen up, Democratic establishment. You can either jump on board with this shit, or we're coming after you in the same way that we come after MAGA. Period. Stop taking AIPAC money. Go on an I'm sorry I took AIPAC money atonement tour if you want to stay in power.
What?
Stop missing out on these
this
big,
is critical.
Rallies. Hakeem and Chuck should have been front and center introducing the next mayor of New York City. But no, they wouldn't show up because they're pussies. They're pussies that are beholden to the same corporations that that helped Donald Trump get elected. And this is just an embarrassment. Kudos to Bernie, to AOC, to Zoran. And that woman out in somewhere middle America saying, fuck Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, he was a piece of shit. There are so many more of us than there are of them. And these Democrats that continue to play patty cake with corporations and lobbyists, nobody wants that. Nobody wants you. We want politicians to speak freely and look at what the benefit is. Look at what is happening in New York. And you dipshits are sitting on the sidelines, running your social media like complete dorks. It's embarrassing. Get your shit together. Hakeem and Chuck, seriously, get your shit together because the Democratic Party is moving on.
Oh. So that is from Jennifer Welch.
Explain to me who is it? Like,
so
what are
your
coming
thoughts?
into this totally cold.
Yep, and that's the whole intention of this.
Okay.
Is you guys, what do you take of that? You think it's like just some lady who got a microphone, she's a Looney Tune, right?
I mean, this strikes me as a suburban country club wine mom who had a fifth glass of Chardonnay who has decided to rain down all the anxieties of her life.
I've got a couple of takes out of this.
Hold on. I want to know who this is, though.
So
Welch, right?
Yeah, that's her name. So first your take on it.
My take on it is a couple of things. Like, number one, she says wine mom and not in the pejorative way.
No, it's like a compatriot.
They're like claiming it back,
Yeah.
which I found to be very interesting. And then this sort of pivot to, I think this person who thinks Charlie Kirk being assassinated was good.
Yep.
Also is related somehow to AIPAC and corporations and lobbyists, which I wasn't really clear on. I feel like the neurons in her brain weren't firing. And also AIPAC, they control our politics. But also Zohran Mamdani, who's like an Islamist, is going to be the next mayor of New York doesn't really seem to track for me. I just want to say, like, if you think that there's this secret cabal of Jews through AIPAC that run America, and then somehow Zoran Mamdani is going to be mayor of New York, it doesn't seem to really track for me.
Like, kill Charlie Kirk and we hate Jews and corporations. And it's like, I have a tough time here's the other thing that just stood out to me, fellas. Can libs say pussy?
Apparently.
Now they can.
This is a new thing.
The permission structure.
And it wasn't that she just said it. She said it twice, and she sort of celebrated it a little bit.
No, she said it a little hard. I actually kind of respected that.
She was like, pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, she like said it. It wasn't like, something you were trying to reel back a little bit. I mean, she was celebrating it.
Ashford?
So, Smug, when you were tweeting about this, I followed up on it a little bit. So I got to be honest. I did a little bit of research. So you go ahead.
Don't say anything, then.
Oh.
It's like the people who won't watch the movie. They go on Wikipedia and they'll look up the whole thing. They're like, no, I know the movie.
No,
but it's okay,
that's
Ashford.
me.
Oh.
I try to make a fun game for my friends. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is...
I was following his Twitter feed, and now he says that's bad.
I know JD retweeted it, so everyone saw it. But anyways, so here's the thing. You hear someone like that, and you're like, she just said...
I love my friend so much.
She just said she's celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, which we were told is this like extremist nut job position that like
it didn't exist.
Yeah, like media companies, CBS, everyone were like, oh, this is something that maybe 3 or 4 people in their mom's basement said. No one is actually
like nobody in the Democratic Party would say something like that.
Would say something. Well, what if I told you this is a lady who has one of the top podcasts on the left, who had a show on Bravo, who has published a book.
Wait, she had a show on Bravo?
Correct. And
wait, come on.
I'm serious. And
doing what?
So she also had a book which came out. Who wrote the blurb for it? Can I get graphic 4, please? That's Barack Obama saying
he wrote the blurb for her book.
It was from Barack Obama
I did not
saying,
see that.
"Thank you so much for the wonderful work you're doing." Is she actually around like any of these people? Can I get graphic 5? September 30th of this year, just about a month ago, there she is with Kamala. But she's she's just some fringe person no one's ever heard of. Graphic 6. There's her with her button. She hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. That's pretty mainstream to me.
Oh, my God.
What's she up to today in terms of her activism? Graphic 7. There's her
Mamdani.
with Mamdani. But is any mainstream media platforming her? Graphic 8. There's her on CBS's morning show.
You're kidding me.
No way.
Next to Nate Burleson.
Could I get graphic 9? Also a frequent guest on CNN.
No way.
But who actually would show up on a podcast? She's a fringe figure saying crazy things like we should support and stand up and enjoy the death of Charlie Kirk. Who would show up on a podcast with someone like this? Can I get graphic 10? We've had AOC, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Elizabeth Warren, Zoran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, and the guy who said 9/11 was good, Hassan Piker.
No way, dude. Are you kidding me?
This is the mainstream left now. So when people think that like, oh, this is just like a fringe thing. This is just some random crazy people, and we got them fired. There were probably only like 5 or 6 people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's. That's a mainstream position. And when I said earlier in the show that there's a through line in the lack of leadership among the Democrat Party, she's going again and again telling Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, you need to get on board with this. When we said weeks ago, there was that article in Politico about how the grassroots of the Democrats are saying, we want blood in the streets. We want you out there fighting. There it is. When we saw that article, which was like, they want to guillotine us if we don't fight, because that's it. That's the mainstream Democrat Party. They want blood. They've said it again and again, and that's the mainstream position.
So can I ask you a question? Because I've never heard of this woman.
Yep.
No.
And as somebody who works professionally in politics, and I think I consume a lot of media, left, right, and everything in between, to have never heard of this woman is sort of a fascinating thing in and of itself.
Yep. Totally.
Like,
but she's apparently a huge
well,
deal.
but like in music, like music fans would be like, this is an industry plant. Like, who is this person who now suddenly shows up and has all of like the right people?
It's been credentialed by Barack Obama for
it
crying
feels
out loud.
very strange.
It does.
Where
feel
does
very
that
strange.
originate from?
Well, it's interesting. I just, as you said, the Bravo thing that piqued my interest because I thought, like, Okay, she's a television star first. So it turns out she was an interior designer and the star of the Bravo show Sweet Home. Apparently, that's a show that was on Bravo. It's it's not exactly in my recording list, but a show nevertheless. And she was originally on a show that was kind of a derivation, Sweet Home Oklahoma, for 2 seasons. That then went into Sweet Home, because of course Oklahoma, it's pejorative for a lot of people to watch that. So they have to remove the South.
And then just to be like a little nitpicky on what she was saying of how she's like so against corporations and like, you need to get with this grassroots energy. If you go to her Instagram, it's basically being sponsored by every major corporation.
No way.
Going on trips to Italy.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes. Dude, like she is getting incredibly well paid, right? Her podcast is doing tons of money in ad sales, and the thing is that you wonder, how could this happen? You have this woman has lived her entire life in the lap of luxury. Why is she out here trying to be like a communist super soldier for AOC and the revolution? That's what the left has done. They have radicalized this group of women in this country to be like, we need you to be the frontline soldiers. When you see these like attacks on ICE facilities, who are you seeing out there trying to stand in front of cars and throwing rocks? It's a bunch of women.
Yeah.
They have targeted women specifically and radicalized them. And this is what we're seeing. Mainstreaming of, I'm happy Charlie Kirk died, for them to say that.
Do you feel like this is all created through some sort of advertising vehicle? Because, like, here's the thing.
I don't think it's a plant, dude.
But, dude, here's
I really believe. I'm telling you, like, that's the thing.
It makes you wonder,
no,
dude.
but, like, here's...
No, I think that's trying to excuse it. I think that's trying to be like, there's no way.
But they came out of the election, right? The Democrats came out of the election being like, we don't really have a good footprint with authentic voices in podcasting and any of these sorts of things. Like... Hassan Piker, he has an audience. Like, that guy has a real audience.
I pulled up her social blade. It's taken years for her to build this.
Really?
Interesting.
This is not an overnight industry plant. You're just seeing the radicalization in real time. And we talk about information silos. This is what I'm talking about. This silo has expanded to the point where Barack Obama is giving a blurb to her book and is a guest on her podcast.
Were they all giving these blurbs before or after the buccal fat removal she did on her face? Because I just got to be honest. That shit's terrifying.
Dude,
women in this country, please stop listening to plastic surgeons who tell you to destroy your face. No man thinks you look attractive like that. I'm sorry.
Dude, I'm just looking at her Instagram and several pictures on it. And, like, when she shows up at an official thing, like with Barack Obama.
It's crazy.
Whatever. Like, and then she just does her podcast, which is the shit that you just saw, where she's just staring down like a fucking sparrow into the camera. Like, it looks like two different people. Like, there's a real makeover effect going on.
The overlapping thing is just touching on why there's such cowardice from Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, because they're scared of people like that.
They think
those people are legion. And the thing is that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries aren't wrong. That is the majority of Democrats. That is the mainstream left today. I want everyone to get out from your head the idea that, like, no, you see, just like there's just two parties, but most of us want to get along. No, the position that you've seen from, like, critical race theory of essentially saying that, like, well, all white people are bad. And so a lot of these, like, well-to-do white women took that as, oh, well, if I want to be a good person, I have to be a communist super soldier and help with the DEI. Like, that they feel like they're absolving themselves of sins by being willing to kill their opponents. They think they're in some kind of like a life or death situation. Like, the left has just been amping up and amping up and amping up. You're fighting authoritarian fascists. And it's like, no, dude, we're just doing a CR here. This is and that's what you end up with.
Dude, I'm glad you highlighted all this. I had no idea who this person was, but this is like genuinely remarkable stuff that I'm looking at my phone. She's very much within the mainstream of the Democratic Party.
And I think, I find what you said very persuasive. And the first thing that came to my mind is all of these normie Democrats who sort of whisper about the hope that maybe a moderate, like Bill Clinton did in 1992, maybe a moderate Democrat can rise and sort of break this fever. It doesn't seem like that's possible.
Exactly.
Well, that's just not the way that it's working with the base.
Right.
And as the base goes, so does the party. And like there's been much made of the Republican base under Trump, right? Different than it was under George W. Bush or historically in the Republican Party. But the distinction is like you brought in a working class element, a yellow dog Democrat, which, used to be just straight up union worker, blue collar folks. What they're talking about is clinically insane human beings. Like, can you imagine being at anywhere and somebody is like, hey, what do you think about this? And they're like, yeah, I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead. Like saying that out of your mouth requires a brain malfunction. But then for the young girl, I mean, right. I don't know who that was, but she must have been no older than 25 to say, yeah, I do that same thing. Do you wish that I was dead? And she's like, yeah, maybe.
Yep.
I mean, to look somebody in the eye, like the vacancy of human emotion.
And that's calculated, and over time we've talked about that, the dehumanization of conservatives. Well, when they call, like for years, they'd call conservatives MAGATS, maggots.
But she uses it as a jumping off point to be like, you see? Look at this energy.
And she's like, isn't that great?
Yeah, look at this energy. As if that's something to be emulated or celebrated in any possible way. And like, dude, it's fucking depressing.
Yes. And to your point about the lack of leadership on the Dem side, when Barack Obama, the former two-term president of the United States, is chasing that, you know it's Mayday territory for them.
That's something.
My God. Well, when we come back, we're going to play a terrific game. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. Let's not even do a break.
Straight to it?
Let's just go right
We
to
got to
it.
lighten it up.
Yeah, we got to lighten it up. I mean, listen, I'm glad you did that. It was an important segment. But, we like to have fun here on the Ruthless Friday program. And it's
Although
game day.
I do appreciate doing a segment from Professor Smug.
I do, too. That was very
I enjoyed that.
Well done,
yeah,
dude.
I really
Well
I
done.
liked coming in cold.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And he had the receipts.
And thanks for Wolf, man. Great job putting it together.
Yeah, good job, Wolf.
Okay,
All
so
right.
we have King of the Hill.
Yeah, I think I'm the judge.
And I'm the bailiff.
Yeah, and so...
I'm the challenger. I'm bringing David from.
Oh.
Okay, I've got Sarah Longwell as the champ.
Okay. Let's go ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. It's time for King of the Hill. In the red corner, fighting from who knows where. David, where did you come from? And now, in the blue corner, fighting from her own publication and current champion of the world, Sarah Long Not Well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, as we always do here on the Ruthless Friday program for King of the Hill, we start with the champion, and there's a lot to work with these days, so I can't wait, and I hope this is a spirited contest.
Well, I can assure you that Sarah Longwell will bring her best, as she does every week. Exhibit 1, please, Wolf. And she's quote tweeting something from a Wall Street Journal reporter, Josh Dawsey. And she says, Trump doesn't care about how high your grocery or housing prices are. He cares about building a ballroom you'll never set foot in. This is a former Republican.
I will say the champion knows a way into this judge's heart, and that I find everything to do with the ballroom amongst as crazy as anything I've ever heard in public discourse. So it's a good play.
It's inspired writing as well.
Challenger?
I'm going to get straight to it. Exhibit 11, please. David From at it with a horrible take. Trump planned to fund military pay by, quote, gifts from unnamed plutocrats should horrify and terrify every American founder. Plutarch quotes the triumvir, I think it's triumvir, Marcus Crassus, no one is rich who cannot pay for his own army. The founders wrote the Constitution, so it would never happen here. He's talking about Timothy Mellon, I believe, from New York, who handed over $150 million because he didn't want our troops to not get paid because the Democrats have shut down Congress. And for David Frum, a man who, amongst anyone, is the most enthusiastic about sending our troops overseas to fight in wars he likes, is like, wait a minute, we shouldn't be paying the troops. Absolute scumbag.
It's just like private armies in Rome.
Just like that. Same thing. And they're just going to guard Mellon. That's it. It's the United States of Mellon, according to... So look, I really love everything to do with the left losing their mind about the whole thing.
The ballroom.
But I can't help, and I've thought about this a lot over the last 2 weeks, about if there was a Democrat, a liberal-leaning person who gave $150 million to fund our American troops because the opposition party wouldn't allow them to get paid for unnamed reasons, unnamed strategy. And I think it would be on the front page of every newspaper.
Yep.
And I also think that there would be like some kind of a ticker tape parade is like, this is what patriotism looks like. And the fact that this guy's been demonized in any way, and the fact that this guy takes it a step further to suggest that somehow that Trump, by accepting the fact that this guy's going to pay our troops, is somehow selling out the United States of America is enough for me, and that for that reason, round one goes to the challenger.
Wow.
I'm going to go for a 2-round knockout. I want to end this right here. Exhibit 10, please. David Frum. Triple whammy as Trump cuts off food stamp benefits to the poor. His tariffs are massively raising food costs. Trump tariffs have doubled the price of pasta from Italy.
Oh, Jesus.
David Frum standing up for the Italians.
If you were the judge, this would be a nuclear bomb.
And it's incredible because he's like, won't someone think of the foreign imported foods from Italy?
It is very funny. It's very funny that he's talking about food stamps, food prices. The triple whammy in that is specifically Italian food.
Yeah. And if we're being,
you can't even use food stamps to get a good cannoli anymore.
And if we're being real, it's like maybe if more domestic Italians would go into pasta making instead of waste management, which we all know. We all know what that business is.
Oh. That's a pretty good one, dude. It's pretty good. This judge, it's well received.
Okay, what you got, pal?
It's not much.
Oh, he's going to tip off.
I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not much.
tip
Exhibit
off?
2, please. Wherever you fall on the Trump can't run again in 2028, can we all agree that Trump is certainly acting like he plans to, and Republicans would do nothing to stop him if he tried? Can we further agree that Trump has regularly made fools of those who argued, quote, Trump won't? The same week that Donald Trump said, I can't run, so I'm not going to do it. She's seeing something that everybody else has missed.
This thing, girl, it's not spicy meatball.
Listen, I love the genre. The genre is fertile ground for me. Like, I love this genre. And like, there's a whole bunch of the left online that is just infatuated with this thing. Trump's like, yeah, they told me that you can't, a constitutional crisis, so I'm not going to. And they're like, see, he's running. And like, I'm in love with that whole genre. It's missing a flair for the dramatic here. She's like, yeah, so Republicans won't do anything about it. And that just seems whiny and sort of trite lib. The Italian blast alone gives Smug the 2-round knockout. He's a new champion.
Thank you so much. Outstanding work, Your Honor.
Well deserved.
I agree, Your Honor.
Well deserved.
And well played by Ashbrook, too. That was great.
Okay, so you guys want some variety?
Always.
So Brendan Carr is the chairman of the FCC. You may have heard him in recent weeks. He said his name in the newspaper for many different things, but he's absolutely terrific. He's honestly one of my favorite people in all of D.C. Guy gets it. He's very, very smart, doing a lot of really important things that people don't see on a day-to-day basis. He only gets his name in the headlines when, like, fucking Jimmy Kimmel does a shitty job and gets fired and then rehired and whatever. Somehow it's Brendan Carr's fault that they've lost 2/3 of their audience over at ABC. So, like, that's when you hear about him. but he's a good friend of the program. He's been in here a couple of times. And so, lo and behold, yesterday we're hanging out, and over the transom on X comes a flag. Brendan wants us to cover something. He's a loyal listener of the program. And he says, fellas, it's time for the banana-covered pool. Mm-hmm. And I was immediately like, click, click, click. Like, I got to see what the hell this is about. So click on his tweet and we see it. Turns out, an aggressive rhesus lab monkey escapes after truck accident.
Plural.
So, yeah. So,
lots of them.
Yeah. I mean, primarily, this is a story about macaque. But it's a lab-engineered macaque.
Uh-huh. It's not a macaque, though. It's a rhesus monkey,
No,
right?
they're the same.
They're the same?
Yeah, we looked into it.
Wow.
I'm glad that you asked the question.
Well, we need to know for the audience.
Well, it's important when you know that you're
Latin.
talking about various different entities when something is macaque and when it's not. And in this
Very
case...
important. We've had a lot of problems with that in this country.
We do. And in this case, it is macaque. A truck hauling monkeys from Tulane University in New Orleans flipped on a Mississippi highway, freeing several large, quote-unquote, aggressive monkeys. Okay? You're like, whoa, wow, that sounds, a zoo accident or something like that. No, much worse. After the wreck, which happened north of Heidelberg, multiple rhesus monkeys escaped into the community, according to Jasper County Sheriff's Office. The monkeys are approximately 40 pounds. They're aggressive to humans. They require PPE, a personal protective equipment, in order to handle.
Here's the kicker, folks. It
Why,
gets worse.
you might ask, might someone need PPE to handle macaque? The answer is because they carry hepatitis C, herpes, and the COVID virus.
Oh, my goodness.
So when they're like, these are aggressive monkeys, they've been given like the plague, bro.
Right. This is outbreak in Mississippi.
As of 4:30 p.m. Eastern yesterday, all but one of these escaped monkeys were destroyed.
Oh,
So they
good.
didn't-
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
Oh, but
we
I wonder what
continue
the
to
other
look for
one's
one
doing.
monkey that is still on the loose.
Well, okay, so...
There's a photo of it.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
The ringleader.
And this is, again, folks, this is why you need to watch this on the YouTube. He looks like a problem. Like,
Well,
remember the Congo monkey, the worst of them all? The one with the crazy face? That's this guy.
He's an angry macaque.
I mean,
You're right.
and here's the thing is, so he's been given every disease, all the worst shit, right? All of it. He's got it all. So already he's not having a great time. Now, all his homeboys murdered. He watched them get murked out in front of him. What do you think is going through his head?
Yeah.
He's got nothing to lose. He's essentially just like, I'm going to be the problem. That's his mission.
But Brendan Carr has reminded us of the solution.
That's it.
Monkey looks crazy.
This is important for all the new listeners and viewers to hear from Ashbrook himself.
He looks crazy. He looks hungry. Okay, and what do monkeys like to eat? They like bananas.
They do.
So we want someone in Mississippi to volunteer their swimming pool, cover it with bananas. The monkey goes for the banana, drowns in the pool.
It happens every
Done.
time.
But we're not done with monkey news, fellas.
Oh boy.
It's a photo of an escaped monkey that
No,
we
that was
should
the previous
show.
stuff.
But I've got another thing. This is a Chinese scientists that have created monkeys with schizophrenia and autism.
Why?
That sounds like the end of the world.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end.
No, dude, this is old news. It's called TikTok.
Nice. Nice.
There's a lot of exposure to it.
I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. That is a very hot take. So, yeah, according to Bloomberg, Chinese scientists have created monkeys with schizophrenia and autism.
And the thing is, like, why would you do this?
I don't know. And it doesn't, like, here's the thing, is that there's no, like, hook to it. Like, I was expecting the next, like, a subheader where I was like, cure this, schizophrenia and autism.
Dude, I also
in order to cure it.
Especially when it comes to like
Setting
research
them
and stuff
free.
that their scientists are doing, we will never find out because they always cover it all up the same way they covered up COVID.
It's
They
like
always
gain
do
of
it.
function research,
Always.
right? It's like we're going to create the most ludicrous coronavirus in the world, and it's going to be at this lab in China.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's going to escape out of the lab and infect the entire world, and then, well, guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the China will be like, "Oh yeah, we never knew this coming."
No,
but
it was-
for this. I wonder if the process really was just like mass quantities of Tylenol. Like, like was RFK Jr. right, bro?
God, dude,
It's just like chocolate coated Tylenol. And these monkeys are just going in on it, bro.
Yep. That's it. Just the Tylenol. Anyway, that's all the news that we have here at the Ruthless Variety program. Remember, our question of the day, are Democrats dumb or crazy? Real high-minded, but I imagine that you're going to provide some color to that. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program, we read all of your comments, and we summarize them and get back to you the very next episode, which is Fun Time Friday.
That's right.
Yes.
And believe me, we've held back.
We sure have.
We've held back. We've got some stuff on Friday.
We got high heat to throw you on Friday.
Oh, you're going to love every second of it. With that, fellas, I think we did it.
I think so. Absolute banger of an episode. Gentlemen, thanks so much to Brent Gardner, and thank you to the listeners. Remember, if you have not yet, go to the YouTube, hit that subscribe because it's more fun in video. So until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you Friday. Stay ruthless.